Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. So today we're looking at yes/no questions. What's the answer? Is it a yes or is it a no? And we'll break that down by having a look at what's going on for you in terms of circumstances. How do you think and feel about what's going on? What are the dynamics of the situation? And most importantly, what is the answer? Is it a yes or is it a no? And the context to that. So before we get started, if you would like to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon while you're there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, before you're on the screen, we've got 4 different cards, and the idea is to choose a card that resonates with you really clearly. Once you've made that choice, that will be your reading. It's perfectly fine to choose more than one card if it comes through really strongly for you. And just remember, this is a general reading. So take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. Now, we've got card 1, card 2, card 3, and card 4. So taking a moment to be with the cards, drawing in a nice deep breath. And as you release the breath, listening to your intuition, your inner voice, the energy of the cards. Which of these cards comes through for you the strongest? Is it card 1, card 2, card 3, or card 4? So down below there are 4 different timestamps representing each of these different cards. If you would like to go to the one you've chosen, I'll see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 4. So this is your reading and it's a yes/no answer to whatever question you're asking today. So I get a yes to this question. So that's a short answer. Let's have a look at the long answer in terms of process, and I'm going to start up here with the Priestess and the Ace of Discs. And I felt, looking to the past, a situation, maybe an opportunity that's come up where you've just really wanted to go for it. It's like a real wow moment. It's like, yeah, this is amazing. This can be amazing. It's a real moment. It's kind of like this sort of point of realization. It's like, that's what I want. Let's do it. I'm sold. It's that real feeling of like, yeah, I'm on board. I can see where this can go into the future, and it has enormous amount of potential. And I felt that could be realized in a lot of different ways. Like, it felt like, obviously with any opportunity, like there's a degree of risk involved, but with this, it just felt really solid. It's like I just, like I feel like you can see something here that gives you a kind of a return and also an experience that just really is very worthwhile. It's quite fortuitous, actually. I felt that this was an opportunity that really spoke to you in a way that gave you a vision as to what was possible for the future. And I felt you were very grounded with that potential. You could see the substance in this. It's like, yeah, I can really get my teeth into this. It's palpable, it's tangible. Seeing something, and I think what I like about this opportunity is it kind of feels like there's something great about it. It's just kind of head and shoulders above everything else. It's like, yeah, this is it. And I think it's that sense that I'm just going to get straight in there and make it work. Maybe you haven't been so clear about what exactly it is that you're going to do, or how it's going to work, or where it's even going to arrive you if it really came down to it. But but within yourself, like your instincts are saying no doubt, no hesitation, totally on board. And you feel that whatever it is that you've actually got to work with here, it really has like solid bones. This could be like like what could this be? It's whatever it is that actually fits into the question that you're asking. But I just felt that whatever it was, it's almost like a diamond in the rough, like it's just something's captured your eye and it has a glimmer and it really speaks to you in a way. It's like, oh wow, like I can't let go of this. Like I've got to go with it. And I felt very strongly that this could be something that gave you a future outcome that was just really potent. And it wasn't necessarily just about this opportunity, it's about where it would actually lead you to. You know, it's a very potent potential is what I keep on feeling here. And it's this confidence that you have. It's like, yeah, like it's like totally, I can see where this is going to go. And I'm sold, totally on board. I think also maybe what it is that I feel here is just like it's an inner knowledge or an inner sense of knowing what it is that you need to do to follow through on this. Like it's a very sure position. You know, the Ace of Disc is very much about opportunities. It's often about money, but it can be anything that's very fortuitous. You know, something that actually opens a door into your life, into the future of your life that actually really gives you this potent return, potent potential. And the Priestess is all about it's about the future. You know, it's a sense of what's going to happen up ahead. And there's uncertainty in the card, but at the same time, you know, like it's instinctual, intuitive, maybe a little bit psychic. So you've had a sense about this. Yeah, you've just followed through on it. Yeah, so great things can be achieved here. And I like that. And that's been very much what's been going on for you in the past. I think that you have come to a point now, if you come over here to the Hierophant and the Ace of Swords, you know, like the position's completely changed. It's like you've given up on it. You've gone totally cold on it. It's like you've dropped it like a hot potato. It's like, no way am I taking this on. Something's happened. You know, like a situation has been undermined by some kind of an issue that feels absolutely insurmountable. And there's a refusal. It's like a red light. It's like, no way. So you've gone from one extreme to the other. It's like, I was going to be completely on board with this. It was going to give me everything that I could possibly want. It felt special. It felt possible. I saw the potential. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, no way. I'm not committing to this. You know, the Hierophant is all about commitment. In a very formal sense, you know, it's about, you know, contractual obligation, whether that's marriage, whether that's, you know, sort of, like a contract to work or or an opportunity, you know, like it's a binding agreement, you know, a technicality that actually ties you to it. And the Ace of Swords, is a card that is about cutting away from the past. And I feel like this has come up very quickly. It's very sharp, very short, very intense. It's like, whoa. I'm taking issue at a very core level here, and I am not going to follow through on this. I'm going to give it up. I'm going to cut away from it, and I'm not going to commit because I feel that this does not fit in to any possible map that works now. I think this has been very intense for you. It's just kind of like, you know, like there's been a lot of reflection, you know, because Ace of Swords reflects on the past, but kind of has clarity about where it wants to go for the future because, you know, like it's decisive action. It's an action card. But it has issues, you know, like there is pain in it. It's feel like, you know, I kind of feel that you've reflected on it and not wanted to make the commitment because, you know, it's almost like, if we come back here to the High Priestess or the Priestess and the Ace of Discs, it's that sense of potential through an intuitive lens, you know, like there's uncertainty, but it's like I trust what's going to happen. And when you come back over here to the Hierophant and the Ace of Swords, when it comes down to making the commitment, in a formal sense, it becomes more technical. It's like, whoa, cold feet, not going to go there. Something's come up that's really scared me. I've taken issue with it. And all of a sudden, I don't trust it. You know what I mean? Because the swords are all about issues and they lack trust. I feel like you've lost faith, you've lost trust. And it's a very strong reaction to what's going on because you're saying this is unacceptable. It's pushing my limits of understanding. It's pushing my limits of what I feel is acceptable. You know, it's quite rigid, actually. There's a rigidity, a conformity based on maybe on conditioning all of a sudden. It's like you've kind of gone, again, I think you are like this as a person. I think there are polarities within your character. Highly intuitive versus maybe very rational. You know, risk, potential versus risk aversity. And I feel that this is a very negative position that you're now resting in at this particular point in time. It's like you've given up on it. Essentially, that's what I feel. It's like, you know, I'm giving up on it. I'm done with it. And I think in your mind, you're just like, this is insurmountable. There's just no way I can get my head around anything that could possibly work. So why even bother entertaining the idea of making it like a future potential, over and out. So I have to say, what I find here is that, are you cutting off your nose despite your face? That old saying, yeah? Are you being too harsh? There is an inflexibility, here with both of these cards. The Hierophant is very formal. It's conformed. And the Ace of Swords is, it's black and white, stuff. It's like, so where's this all going? That's the big question, really. And if we come down here to the Star and the Four of Disc, power. I think these two cards, signify a lot of advice about the potential of where this can go for the future. And I think that you need to make your mind up ultimately in order to get the yes that I see in this reading. I felt it was really important to come back to base and to ground yourself in what it is that you were actually originally aiming to achieve. I feel what's going on here is that, like when you pair it right back, there's a sense of vulnerability here. And that you've closed down on it in a way where you've gone into self-protection mode. And that closes down all the energy. You've bunkered down. You've put on some armor in a way where you're shielding yourself about the potential of what it is going to really happen here, because you don't want to be put into a vulnerable position where you don't get what it is that you want. Nothing is ever. The thing is, nothing is ever certain. You know what I'm saying? But the power to manifest what you want through a constructive focus is very real. And I felt that what you'd already established was very core. Like, you've already made inroads here. You can see that here with the Four of Discs. There is foundation here. There is a base camp. There is security, a fortress of sorts that actually underpins this potential to actually still work. But at the same time, it's, if you flip the meaning of the Four of Discs, it's a limiting card because it protects itself and it actually has very strong boundaries and it doesn't want to let things in because it wants to keep it safe and secure. And it's coupled with the Star, which is a focusing card. It's about your dreams, your hopes, your desires. And if you bring back to the start of the reading, which is all about this potential of where this opportunity could go, you've kind of flipped it all around into self-protective mode. Now you're seeing limitations, is what I'm trying to say, as opposed to the true potential of what is you felt in the first instance, before you started to react to it. And I feel like it's really important to remember what is possible here, because a part of me wants to say it's not all about you. I don't know why that would be. Maybe that makes sense to you, because I feel like you're grounding yourself in a way where it's all become all about you. About your safety, about your security, about taking control in a way that limits liability, limits the vulnerability, the sensitivity maybe. It's like it's self-protective mode. Yeah, there's something quite vulnerable about this. And yeah, all of a sudden you're playing it really safe and you become risk averse, which is what I was saying to you before. It's like there's that polarity of character. It's like, looking for something that maybe has risk and a sense of potential versus risk aversion, these extreme natures. But I think what's really interesting about that is that when you look at the reason why it is that you actually wanted to go with this in the first place, it was based more on an intuitive hunch, which spoke to you very loudly. And then your mind's taken over because something has defaulted on you or some kind of issue has arisen that seems to be just a red line. And it's it's like a burst of reaction, like a burst of energy that kind of is almost quite explosive and just sort of says no, So I would urge you to look at what has been established here, and that there is a basis or a foundation that really grounds the potential of what is it you really saw in the first place in a way where you really need to refocus your sight on what is it you felt in the first place. Again, nothing is ever certain, but look what's established. Come back to base is what I keep on saying or feeling here. Be grounded in what you're aiming for, but don't be closed about it in a way where you make it impossible. I feel that you need to go for it. You need to do it. I feel that the potential here has always been one that will give you an amazing return, a fulfilling return, a journey that will enrich you in terms of experience, but also in terms of, I want to say material outcomes as well. Like I felt that this was not just about one thing. It was about a full experience that gave you a lot of stuff to work with, right? And I felt that this was a door that opened, but it opens up many other doors at the same time. It actually takes you into the future of many different potentials. And I think that that's where it's difficult with the Ace of Swords, is that you're looking at it black and white. All of a sudden you're just looking at one aspect. You're forgetting the big picture here. You're forgetting the big picture here. You need to remember what you saw was possible is what I'm trying to say to you. And also, it's not all about you. For some reason, I need to say that. I just felt that's very clear. Listen, I hope this reading has made some sense to you. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 2. This is your reading, and we are looking at questions today. So it's ask any question, and I will give you a yes or a no to that question. And today I feel it's a no with this particular reading. I'm going to start up here with the Death and 3 of Works, or 3 of Discs, sorry. It's kind of like that feeling of pushing back a negative force, like something. It feels like something's chipping away at your circumstances or the situation that you're in. I feel like this is more about the past leading up to this particular point. It's kind of like the strength of the foundation is being tested out in a way that really questions the integrity of what's going on. And the question is, does it hold the integrity? But I felt like this force was quite a relentless force that it's a matter of trying to stand your ground and to kind of keep things integral, to keep things really solid in a way that it's almost like you're having to defend your position or your situation. But it's that feeling underneath it for me that speaks really loudly, that sort of says, well, am I up against the odds here? Like, does this or is this going to get the better of me? I felt like you had been holding it off to a large degree, and that you were searching for a different way to kind of maintain your ground. It's quite a spiritual experience as well, because I kind of feel like it really tests you at the core of your inner strength. It's like, having to stand your position and connect to a higher power to call in the force of good. Not to say that it's good against evil, but it's the force of good against something that feels like it's eroding a position that's really been established very strongly. And that you're fighting to uphold that. So there's a lot at stake here is what I'm trying to say. And I think what I find difficult about this is there's a relentlessness to it. Like you can't take your eye off the ball, because if you do that, you'll lose ground. And whatever this is, it's quite unforgiving, like it's not considering you in a way. I don't know. Does it make that personal, or is it just what it is? I think it's just what it is. And I think what's really difficult about it is coming to grips with the truth of what's going on and accepting that it's a reality. I think that that's actually really difficult. It's like, you don't want it to be this, you want it to be something else, but at the same time, you kind of have to face it because you can't get away from it. Death's like that. Death is a real thing. It's like nobody wants to face death, but the reality is that at some point we're all going to have to face facts, and accept what's going on. 3 of Dis, the works card, is a beautiful card because this is all about sort of foundations and the strength of your footing, And so, like from a very, very basic interpretation of those 2 cards, I kind of just feel like, whatever it is that you've got established here, it's up to a test. It's standing the test of something that's quite relentless and which wants to bring it down in some ways. Coming over here to Eon and the Princess of Cups, and I felt like this was more about where you're at right now. The Princess of Cups is a very heartfelt energy, like this is all about emotion and love and compassion. And this could be about a relationship, but it could be about a lot of things. It could be about something that's really personal to you. Eon is very much at a crossroads as well. So I kind of feel here, it's like, you're putting your heart on the line with whatever this is. There's a lot at stake for you at a very deep and personal level. You're personally invested in this, and it's a vulnerable position because you're being very, very honest. I feel like you're a very honest, very truthful person, very loving, very compassionate, very, there's a lot of sensitivity here. I think that I think that the integrity of what's going on and whatever it is that's at stake is very much right up there because it really matters. Not just for you. I mean, it really matters for anybody. Like you know what I mean? Like this is almost like an example of needing to do it the right way, if that would make sense. It calls in self-respect. So you have to have self-respect here, and you have to really put yourself squarely on the map because it matters. It's important on that level. You can't let this just go by you. You can't let this just overcome you and be a victim of it. Like you actually have to put, yourself right there in the center and be accountable for yourself. Be accountable for the situation in a way where integrity is actually really co-aligned to the center of what's going on here. And at the same time, I kind of feel like you're calling out. It's like, what about me? How much am I supposed to bear of this? I feel like I'm under so much pressure. The feeling is really intense. At times it can be very emotional. At times I can feel very vulnerable. At times I just feel like, oh God, how did I get myself into this situation? Why am I at the center of this experience, right? At the same time, I need to put myself right in the middle of and squarely on the map because it matters, My heart's on the line here. This is important. I need to stand up for it, stand by it. And I think in some ways it's actually about making a stand to show others as well. Like again, this thing about an example comes up. It's like, you're living this experience in a way where you need to do what's right for yourself, but at the same time also everything about this is integrity to me. It's like, somebody has to stand up and be accountable. Somebody actually has to put, the right foot forward and lead by example, is what I'm trying to say. Self-respect is very important here. I think you have to really respect yourself. And I think also, I get a sense that you are a very forgiving person, and sometimes you can be a little bit passive. I don't mean that in a negative way, but what I'm trying to say here is put yourself first. Put yourself first. You have to put yourself first here. You matter. It's not just about what matters, you matter. Without you, this wouldn't be happening. Without you in the center of this experience, it wouldn't make sense. You're bringing it to the situation. Oh God, I hope that makes sense. So like on one level, I kind of feel like you feel like I've got everything to lose. I felt that down here with the universe and the Eight of Swords, I felt that this was more of an outcome, but also slash, like advice. And it's that sense that, despite all of your efforts to uphold the integrity of whatever it is that's going on, it's like you're working against a grain. You're working against a flow of something. And in many ways, it's almost like there's unforeseen sort of obstacles that are in the background that are throwing things in the way and tripping you up. I felt like everything or everyone was on a different page or a different kind of flow. Like it's just like it all feels mismatched, and there's different agendas that work against each other. It's almost like, in some ways, I guess what I'm trying to say, it's almost like it's not meant to be. Like, like the universe is about fulfillment and upholding all that matters in the most beautiful way, because you're aiming for success, whereas the Eight of Swords is kind of like it's all about falling out and going against success, really. It's a bit of a despairing card, because that kind of interference just gets in the way of things being the best possible outcome. So in some ways, I kind of feel like it is set against you, and but what I'm trying to say at the same time is that you can't just give up on it. You've got to go down with the like fighting for it. Keep bringing integrity to the situation and standing up and being accountable for putting yourself first. Saying that this matters is what I'm trying to say. So despite the fact that someone or something, seems to be working against the situation, and that your aim is to succeed, it's about the effort. It's about the right effort. It's about putting the right foot forward. It's about you setting the bar high for yourself and showing other people that actually really matters, and that you're not going to bow down to the lowest common denominator and make this messy. You have integrity, and that you'll bring in, almost like a call in a spiritual energy or a higher vibrational energy in terms of your kind of, your evolution as a person, right? To this situation, and to kind of make it good one way or the other. That you're not going to be as bad as all of that or everybody else or everything else. And I think in some ways, it's about accepting defeat gracefully, is what I'm trying to say. And I felt that, perhaps you have to resign yourself to this situation. This one in particular, maybe it just doesn't work. But you've given it your best. So what I'm saying is, don't fall in a heap and let it overcome you, or surrender to the worst kind of, I guess, the lowest common denominator and be as bad as everything or everybody else. Stand tall. Stand tall. So it's a no for me on this particular situation. But I think what I'm also identifying here is that there is an overall process that's really important in terms of what you need to do for yourself so that it makes it good, even though you don't get what you want. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. Great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 3. So today it's ask any question, yes, no answers, and I have a yes with this particular question. I get a yes, which is my short answer. So the long answer, here we go. I want to start up here with the Devil and Victory, which is the 6 of Wands. Tapping into what the feeling is. It's that feeling of wanting something really bad, like it's hungry, like it's a hungry feeling, very thirsty, hungry, There's a strong desire here to kind of make something happen. It's like playing to win, really. It's like you know what you want, but you want it fast. You want it yesterday. And I feel that what you're doing here is that you're looking for shortcuts, quick fixes, ways of working around obstacles, perhaps. It's almost a little bit borderline in terms of whether this is healthy or unhealthy. Part of me wants to say it's almost a bit obsessive, to get it. I really want it. I want it hard. I want it fast. And I'm playing to win. I know what I want, but I'm really worried that something's going to get in my way and stop it from happening. That's the tension point for me. It's like that feeling that I want to get it. I want to have it. I want it really bad. I know what it is. But I'm almost prepared to take a shortcut or maybe do something that's a little bit dishonest even, in some ways. It's not relaxed. That's what I don't feel. It's like not a relaxed place to be. It's kind of almost like over-egging it. And there's a lot of anticipation about this. Yeah, and I think the big thing for me is it's this thing of wanting to fast track it, cut corners to get to the point of succeeding. It's all about success on many levels. The victory, which is, in the name, is about success, is about winning the day. And it's the acknowledgement that comes with that, It's a driven card because, winning is everything for some people, but it's also winning is everything for some sorts of situations. It just really depends on the context of what this means to you. But that card is driven by the devil, and the devil is also a really ambitious card. It's a very sexy card. Because often it can point to relationships, and they don't have to be intimate relationships. These can be workplace relationships, people that we know, like friends or colleagues, and people that we find attractive or who we are in relationships with. But the energy of that card, which is more about what I want to tap into here, is one of burning desire. It's that thirst to have something that you almost feel like you can't have. And it makes it into a bit of a drug-like experience, because you are anticipating and worrying whether, it's something that you will achieve. And so in the context of the Six of Wands with victory, it really amplifies that need to kind of get what you want, I think there's a lack of trust there with the devil, and I feel that that's what's happening in this situation. It's that kind of, I'm the borderline of it all, I'm obsessing over it to some degree. I'm expecting some kind of complexity. Maybe I'm expecting things to go wrong. It's like I don't trust what's here, in the essence of it, but I want it so bad. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, this is about satisfying my desire to actually get what it is I really want. Okay? And it makes something that actually should be almost quite a simple process into something that becomes much more complex. And coming back to here, to the Hangman and the Princess of Swords, I kind of feel like this is a bit more where things are at now. And I think in terms of your overall process, it's like doubt has begun to creep in a way where I think, it's really knocking your confidence. You started to really overthink what's going on in a way where you're only seeing obstacles and problems and issues. And the Princess of Swords is a card that does that, because it's a headspace, it's about your thinking. It's like you're ticking it over all the time, looking at all of the detail, getting caught up in all of the bits and pieces that make whatever it is that's happening here happen. And it becomes a very internalized process. Like, I start to think about it, going around things in circles, and it's all about me in my head. Beginning to fight with myself. I kind of feel like you're beginning to fight with yourself here. It just seems the narrative in your mind has become very negative. I feel like perhaps there's like one major obstacle, or it could be like a number of obstacles that have accumulated into this, I guess, like this position of just seeing something that just becomes insurmountable. Yeah, maybe it's a lot of different things that are piling up into kind of, just one big, huge problem. Or it could be just one major hurdle that you just think that you can't get over. It's like, and you're trying to sort of see your way around it, trying to think your way around it, because, you want that success and you're still and because you're still very thirsty for it, you're very driven about it, and you're not able to see around how it is that you're supposed to be able to get to it. You're starting to turn in on yourself, thinking about it in overtime. Your mind's gone into overdrive. It's just like just constantly ticking it over, laying in bed, awake at night, thinking about it in spare time, or where your thoughts begin to crowd in on you when you're thinking about other things, maybe your work, or while you're having a conversation with somebody. It's just like it begins to sort of gnaw away in the back of your mind, and you can't let it go. This is just constantly there. It's just coming back to that default position of trying to figure it out. And you're beginning to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Beginning to worry about it, beginning to doubt yourself. So like it's all on the wrong side of the experience. It's become and now it has become an unhealthy experience for you because it's becoming overwhelmingly negative. And I think what I felt here really strongly about is it's like it started out a little bit complex, but now it's become really complex. It's become elaborate. It's like, trying to get what you want has become incredibly complex, but and I mean elaborate. It's like the whole process is you're trying to think your way over the obstacles that are in front of you, and it's become really detailed and just unnecessarily complicated. Starting to think of really sort of almost over the top ways to get around all of this. And I think a lot of what I felt was happening here was it's something, with the Princess's Swords, because these are thought patterns and behavioral patterns, and they predate the experience that you're having. These are historical ways of thinking and feeling and doing things. These are outdated. These are kind of almost like these are outdated thinking and behavioral patterns that you need to grow out. Like you need to grow out of this, because this is like a very internal and very core setting for you. It's like, whenever you come up against any kind of challenge, you seem to get back to this point of starting to turn in on yourself. And to give yourself, because you end up giving yourself a really hard time, and it becomes really labored. This whole process becomes really labored for you. It's exhausting. Like I feel exhausted, and I just want to let it all go, but I can't. Like it's like it's an imprisonment. Like it's like it's like you've locked yourself up in this experience that is just really there's no constructive outlet. It's just kind of, it's going around in circles. You are going around in circles with this. So very internalized, lots of obstacles, issues around self-confidence, doubting that you can actually now make a success out of this. Searching for new ways around it, but it's becoming even more elaborate by doing so, because at the end of the day, everything's just become so complex. Time consuming, draining, a feeling like I've been here before. This isn't the first time I've done this. How do I manage to how have I made a mess out of this like that again? It's sort of giving yourself a hard time, beating yourself up. Your own worst enemy is what I'm going to call you just for the moment. But you're not, because at the end of the day, you can do better than this. I felt one thing that I did really recognize here was that you see that maybe one way to get what it is that you want, that you have to make some sort of a sacrifice. But you want to control everything, that's the problem here. You're wanting to control everything. You want to control everything because you're so frightened just to let it all go. If you let it all go, you've got no control over it. And then you don't know whether you're going to win, because at the end of the day, it's just in the hands of, the gods really. And that's not something that you feel so comfortable about, because your rational self wants to think it through in a way that actually has a detailed process that claws at an outcome. And if you come down here to the Fool and the Eight of Pentacles, Prudence, this is, this is an advice position. It's also an outcome, and it's a part of where I see things going. A new beginning, is about to take place, but it's all about letting go of the negativity, letting go of the ideas that there are obstacles, right? The obstacles, maybe they're there, maybe they're not. I don't know. It doesn't matter at this point, but you've got no choice but just to let it go and to get out of your head about this, right? And the Fool is a beautiful card because it's an instinctual card that just says, I'm just here in the moment. I'm here in the now, and everything is full of potential because I can just kind of go with the flow. I trust my instincts. Yeah, my instincts just speak to me, and I listen to them, and I don't doubt them. Yeah, it's like it's kind of a remedy to where you're at right now, which is caught in your head, just thinking, and not being able to let go. Whereas if you just listen to your instinct, they'll just say, just let go. It's all going to be good. It's all going to be fine. Trust, So get out of your head, listen to your instincts, and let them guide you. This is a reboot position. This is about rebooting this particular situation, whatever it is to you, okay? Success is abstract. Whatever success is in the context of this particular reading, and this could be anything, okay? This could be a relationship. It could be about a job. It could be about some sort of a project. It could be about your study. It can be anything. It's whatever it is for you. But just remember, success is an abstract idea. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And what I need to say to you here is it's time to break the mold and reinterpret what success based on your uniqueness. Okay? Set yourself apart and recognize what it is that you actually have to give, and validate you being the person that you are here and now, and work hard based on your initiative, okay, and your steadfastness to win the day. There are no shortcuts to get what you want here, so stop looking for them. There's no quick fix. What you need to do is accept this experience for what it is and relish it by going about it honestly. And it probably, what that means to you is that it's probably going to take a bit longer than you wanted it to happen. And because you're so thirsty for it to be complete and to have, I guess, the golden chalice, the victory, the victory cup in your hand. Okay. It's like, it's not about fast tracking straight to the end. It's actually about the process of going through this in a way that's honest and that recognizes the qualities of why it is that you should actually win based on the thing is, you're a really intelligent person. You're so analytical. You're right up there in terms of your ability to think your way out of everything. But your intelligence isn't based just on your ideas and your thought processes. It's based on your instincts, on your uniqueness, on your ability to succeed under your own steam because of who it is that you are as a person. And it doesn't mean that you have to bypass that to get the success. It means that you actually have to integrate that into your experience so that you actually are having the full deal. Just be honest with yourself. Stop seeing the obstacles. Get back into yourself in a way where you begin to listen to your instincts. Let your experience reboot and kickstart in a way where you just recognize what it is you actually have to give here in a way that breaks the mold, okay? It's a new beginning based on constructive, positive focus and input. Get out of your head about it. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 4. So this is a yes/no answer to whatever question that you are asking today. And I get a yes to the question that you are asking, and that's the short answer. So the long answer is Going to start up here with the Emperor and the Two of Swords, which is peace. And I feel like you've been blocked or stopped from getting something that you want or that you were working towards with quite a lot of gusto. Like you've put a lot into this. You've given it an enormous amount, and I feel that something or somebody has just like stopped you in your tracks. It's kind of like just brought you to a dead halt. You know, you've come to a dead end with it, and I think this has actually been really hard because the control has been taken out of your hands. Like whatever it is that you were working towards has just been undermined by a force or the actions of a situation or of other people that have really, stopped you from being able to participate or contribute any further to what it was that you were trying to achieve. And I feel a lot of hurt about this, on a number of different levels. I think it's gone quite deep into you as a person. This has gone. I think it's at a heartfelt level. It's actually really hurt. Like it's been cutting. It's left you feeling like it certainly hurt your pride. I think you are a very proud person. There's no recourse here to really get around it, to say something that actually gives it any resolution, because I kind of feel like you've been cut out of the picture in many ways. Very painful, and I think the difficulty is that on an outward level, you're kind of sort of saying, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm not going to let this affect me, but deep down, it's like, I can't believe this has actually happened to me. Like, it just feels so personal, And it's hard not to take it personal, because I think on some levels it actually has been a little bit personal. And I think that your natural ability to rise up above a situation has taken over. It's that sense of refusing to sort of stoop down and play that game, or to kind of give it the time that, because to you it's like this is a real insult, and to kind of buy into it, it would just kind of start off a process that would be like rubbing salt into a wound, into your wound, into your pain. And I think what's really hard about this is that you've been wronged, but you're unable to get any recognition that that's the case. Like you've been cut out of the picture. Control's been taken out of your hands, been blocked, stopped. And a lot of anger and frustration is building up. And I think you're keeping that very carefully within yourself. You're not letting that out. You're not letting that out. That's just boiling and simmering away beneath the surface. You're a very strong person. When it comes to any kind of situation that challenges you, there is a sense of taking the high road, of being the better person, of not bowing down to a situation that it's not just about reflecting poorly on you. It's just that, there's quite a lot of integrity going on here. So that's one aspect. That's where I kind of feel like things have been. And if I come over here to the Devil and Swiftness, which is the Eight of Wands, and I feel like your position has, I wouldn't say it's weakened, because you're not a weak person. I feel like you've softened a little, because I think you actually are quite soft deep down. It's like your tune has changed. The frequency has definitely changed. It's like, it's like now you're waiting to hear something, because everything's up in the air. And the fact that you haven't heard anything back just really eats away at you in a way that causes you to do a lot of thinking. It's like, why does this have to be so hard? Should I be the one that reaches out? Should I be the one to make some sort of a communication? Should I be the one that tries to put this together? Whatever this means. And this could be a lot of different things. It could be a relationship. It could be a situation. I felt very strong that for a lot of you that this was actually about somebody or maybe a group of people even. That it was more socially orientated, but it doesn't have to be. It's whatever it is that fits to your question. And I felt, it's that sort of lack of resolution that just leaves everything up in the air for you and makes it really frustrating, because I think by nature you're actually, I don't say that you're controlling, but I think you like things to be ordered. You don't like messy sort of, you don't like mess in your life. You're very, there's something quite methodical about your nature. You can see that with the Emperor, which is very together, there's methodology there, is what I'm trying to say. You have a very clear process. And even with the way that you initially dealt with it with the Two of Swords, it's quite concise. I'm not saying that it's compartmentalized either, because, I think that you actually are across everything, but you're very together, maybe professional, maybe just sharply focused. Is it's as simple as that, really. And so because the power's been taken out of your hands and you're left in this situation where everything's flying around in the air and there's no resolution, it's like not being able to kind of put order to this and to have some kind of resolution leaves it very messy, which I think is difficult for you. So that kind of eats into you a bit in a way where you get very frustrated. And, the devil is sort of speaking, an energy that's saying to me, like a part of me feels quite revengeful, Part of me wants to take control of the narrative, Part of me wants to be heard, maybe to put things right, but also to throw a bit of shade, cast a certain light that, shows up the situation for what it really is. I think a part of it is wanting, I don't know if it's about innocence. I think it's just, it's about it's not been able to clear the air is what it is. It's not finding resolution. I think there's so much here I feel that needs to be said that hasn't been said, that can't be said, because there's nowhere to sort of plant it. There's nowhere to direct it. There's no one to hear it. There's nothing to receive it. You're just left holding this and you've got nowhere to go with it. And it's just, it's starting to eat you up. And the fact that you're starting to think, should I be the one that actually, pushes this forward in a way where I get my moment, my moment of it's like, if you're not gonna, I hope this makes sense. If you aren't going to hear back from them or whatever it is, it's like, and maybe that is where you're at of kind of, do I take responsibility here? Do I step up and actually make good of this? Yeah, definitely there's a breach of trust here. Definitely a breach. You can see that with the devil, and you can see that with the Two of Swords, because these are issues that are crossing over each other in a way that has caused pain. And swiftness, eight of wands, it's all about communication. It's all about the verbal, the written word. It's about messages that need to come through, that are waiting to land. It's everything's up in the air. I think there's a big reflective process of saying, how's this going to make me look? Because at the moment I feel like I look really bad. Yeah, definitely. There's definitely that going on. Like it's like, I haven't been able to say my piece. How is that going? How is that? Are they throwing shade on you? How does that make you look? What can I do to respond to that, to kind of bring resolution to the situation, but also for myself so that I don't look bad? Okay. Coming down here to last, the Princess of Cups. And there's this, I kind of feel like these two cards symbolize, advice, but it's also definitely an outcome to the yes for me. And it'll give you context as to why I'm saying yes. This overwhelming need for honesty, And I was talking about letting your guard down. I think, a part of it is letting your guard down, but it's about softening your position in a way where you begin really to sort of tap into more of a heartfelt inner truth. Because once you soften down at the heart level, it allows you to be more forgiving, definitely. And I think at the moment, I think you're actually finding it very hard to come to a place where you can actually do that, to forgive the situation. Because the pride has been hurt, and it's more of a headspace in terms of feeling, both revengeful and wanting to take control, which may be a big part of what your drive is as a person. But the other side of you is actually very sensitive and very caring, very creative. And I think that is a vulnerability to you. I think that maybe you see that as being a vulnerability. I think maybe you guard yourself in a way where you don't actually let people or situations see just how it's about your inner child. For me, it's about the sensitivity, the vulnerability of who it is that you really are. Something very tender about your character. And I felt that, the opportunity to overcome this situation lays within the true recognition of your heart feeling. And when you actually tap into that feeling, it just kind of opens up a floodgate, really, of communication at a level that's firstly energetic, because you're actually becoming more empathetic and more understanding and more flexible about the two sides of the story or the two sides of the situation. And then you begin to see that it's not all maybe the way that you're actually thinking about it in the first place, which is more, based on a reaction. And it shows that healing needs to be addressed. Healing is the beginning point. Yeah, that's really what this is all about. The truth, getting to the truth, will allow you to heal. What's going on. Most definitely. So for me, this is not about being right or wrong. It's about the acceptance that no one or nothing is perfect, and not even you. Okay. It's about softening your position, tapping in at a heart level, being more flexible in terms of how it is that you see it is that what's going on here. Healing wounds that are actually probably a lot deeper than you think, because I think that it's not just this situation that this isn't the first time that this has happened for you. This happens quite a lot. I think there is a defensiveness there that can get you into trouble. And maybe it's time to address that you don't need to be like that anymore. That being sensitive, that being vulnerable, that being tender, it's not a weakness, it's actually a strength. Because it just gives you a whole picture of feeling and understanding that you can integrate into a wider experience that allows you just to be yourself, really. And I felt really down here with Lust and the Princess of Cups that, it was, the Prince of Cups, that it was a new beginning based on the potential of heartfelt truth. If it's a relationship, it's just about putting yourself in that person's shoes and looking at things a little bit more flexibly and tapping into how you really feel about them, and, understanding that forgiveness is possible. If it's a situation, maybe just understanding that, once again, nothing's perfect. People aren't perfect. Situations are never usually perfect either. It just is what it is. And sometimes you just need to kind of, have a go around, get around it by being a little bit more flexible. But it's the recognition of feeling that is key here for me to getting through this situation and finding resolution. And I feel that the answer is yes, is that you will actually find resolution to whatever it is that's happened here by just kind of, softening down a little bit. And I hope this reading has made some sense. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of info there about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.